We are the biggest entrepreneur platform on the planet. This is Business Rockstars, and right now we've got a rock star for you, Keemia Ferasat, CEO and founder of Style Salute. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you so much for having me. So thrilled to be here.
Good. Well, I already love what Style Salute is about. Lots of themes of female empowerment right up my alley and so much more. Can you tell our audience what is Style Salute?
Of course. So Style Salute is an online lifestyle publisher for young women. We develop creative, inspiring, contextual content for women. We curate product collections that are based on experiences, and we also host events that ultimately aim to inspire and enable the modern woman to pursue smarter, more informed lives.
And you're in such a fun space, a space that I love, media, content creation.
So much changing.
Yeah, and our entrepreneurs watching and listening, they may have a desire to be in this space too, but I think it can be kind of overwhelming when you first try and enter this space, because first of all, there's a lot of competition. Let's just address that right away.
Of course.
How do you deal with that and make sure that you are unique?
I think the best way to do it is to create a unique visual identity. So have imagery that's consistent in this distributed world where people are consuming your content, or our content, especially on all these different social platforms, from Facebook to Instagram. There's also our owned and operated.com to Snapchat. You want to really have a unique visual identity so that if someone was to see your content on one of these social platforms, they don't necessarily see a Style Salute watermark. They'll intrinsically know it's a Style Salute piece of content just by the visual. So I think a visual identity is really important, as well as a voice that stands out. So when I think about the voice of Style Salute, some of the words that come to mind are positive, really positive, authentic, inspiring. So really knowing what your voice and visual identity are can really, for us, it's been able to distinguish us from other media brands.
And I love what you shared with me earlier, too, about how brands really want that interactive networking event type experience, because it's just more memorable and more fun, right?
It is, and brands and people are connect with the brand more, and they have more brand loyalty long term. So there's studies done that show that, for example, a survey that was done by EventTrack shows that 95% of women today are more likely to purchase a product at an event or be connected with a brand after experiencing an event, and or attending a live event, or even seeing like a live broadcast on either Instagram or on Facebook or on any of those social platforms. So live is just so important right now.
Yeah, it reminds me of what the opposite of that is, and what we see so often when we're scrolling through Instagram and we see this Instagram influencer post, you know, their next tea that's going to help them lose weight, and you can see right through it, right? That it's an advertisement, plain and simple, and it doesn't feel very native.
Right.
And I think that maybe worked well at a certain point, but I feel like that's working less and less.
Yes, so millennials, I often hear that millennials hate advertising and Generation Z women hate advertising, but that's really not true. Women today actually love brands, and they want to, but they want to hear from them in an authentic way. So we really just hate advertising when it looks like advertising. So if a story is told from the perspective of a trusted source, for example, Style Salute, people are more likely to learn more from the brand on how to use the product or how to improve their lives by using the product.
Can you give us some insight on how to make this authentic for those who are considering partnering with brands? How do you make content just feel very organic?
Of course. So work with brands that really that have the same kind of messaging as you do. For example, we're working with a company called Elvest, which is digital investment platform for young women. So this came out of a need, seeing that women are not investing their money, and because of this, they don't have enough to retire long term. So we work with them to help tell the story about how women should start investing a little bit younger. So we've done branded content pieces, which will be Invest Like a Woman, a Go-Getter's Guide to Financial Feminism. And we have branded content that guides our readers on how to take control of their finances and really just feel empowered. And investing shouldn't feel intimidating. It should be empowering for women. So we teach them on how to do that. We'll have like a 10-step guide, and it'll all be from our partner Ellevest, and then these conversions that happen to Ellevest's platform for women to sign up either for making a financial plan or just understanding their finances a little bit better. They're more intent-driven conversions, and you don't see it as advertising per se, because it's actually helping our reader make their lives better.
Yeah, I think that's the key, is you're adding value to your readers. You're not just saying, hey, you should be more financially savvy. You're teaching them to be more financially savvy. So I think education is a really, really good tool to really make it count.
Exactly, yes. Millennial women especially, they want to be, they want informative content to help make their lives better.
So what are the main things that you think people need to know about media and how it's changed?
Of course, the main things is everything is digital now. So understanding that information can have multiple different revenue streams. So kind of knowing your audience really well and being able to find what works best for you. So don't just throw gum against the wall or spaghetti against the wall and see if it'll stick. Kind of understand who it is exactly you're targeting, and know which different media models or which different monetization models make the most sense for your brand.
And what are some of the various monetization models that maybe you explored when you first were considering starting this idea?
Of course. So, for example, affiliate marketing. We work with retailers from Nordstrom to Bloomingdale's to smaller retails to, and the products that you're linking to on StyleSuit are all linked to those affiliate partners. But because it's not as intent-driven, we're shifting more towards doing branded content, so working exclusively with brands hand in hand and creating content for them and using those products. So those would be different ways. And eventually the information has multiple revenue streams, but events is one of them. We did consider doing other things, but I think focusing on those three for us has really been key.
Yeah, and obviously which brands you choose to partner with is very, very important. So we're going to talk more about that when we come back, but we're going to take a short break. We are the biggest entrepreneur platform on the planet. This is Business Rockstars. We are the biggest entrepreneur platform on the planet. Welcome back to Business Rockstars. We are continuing our conversation with the CEO and founder of StyleSuit. And we were mentioning how you partner with so many amazing brands. It's really important, obviously, when you're doing brand partnerships, collaborations, etc., that those you work with are on brand, right? And that it's a good brand fit. So what are some of the things that you think of to make sure that a brand or a collaboration is a good fit?
Of course, so for us, we're really always about inspiring and empowering and celebrating women. So when we work with brands, we focus that the brand has the same messaging as us. For example, we would never do content that's aimed at losing weight because it's not in our value system. So we would never work with a company like Slim Fast, for example, but we would of course work with companies like Lane Bryant that are all about plus size women and confidence. So really understanding what your brand is and working with brands and working with partners that have that same messaging and the same value system, of course.
Tell me what it's like for you. Do you have to go out and approach these brands to ask to work with them?
Of course, more often than not, we make the approach. Often brands come to us as well, but being an entrepreneur, you have to be out there. You need to hustle and you need to go to networking events. And when you make those connections with brands, really show them how your company is different and how it could help them. So really being out there as an entrepreneur is just one of the key lessons I think I've learned over the past 2-3 years.
And what are some of the ways that you put yourself out there? Events, obviously, one of them. Do you just email? Do you just call? How, share us a few of the ways.
Networking is so important, and getting out there, and no entrepreneur is going to become successful sitting behind a computer screen and sending emails, because you want that one-on-one connection. You want to know who the founder and the leaders are of a business, and brands want to know that as well. So really putting yourself out there and being your own brand is so important.
Meaning get out there face to face.
Get out there.
So
get out there face to face.
So you think the number one thing is to be at an event?
Yes.
for example, or set up meetings.
Be at an event or set up meetings or go to their office, pick up a phone call. But, don't just send emails back and forth because, email inboxes get inundated and it's just so the same. So really pick up a phone, go to an event, do face-to-face, and, in-person contact is just so important.
So we just talked a lot about, more of the paid content, or I should say sponsored, branded content that you create, but then also you have a bunch of free content just to add value to your audience, and you get help with that, thank goodness, because you are only one person, you can only do so much. So you've got contributors, for example. How do you find these contributors, and what is it like working with them?
Of course, so we work with about 15 to 20 freelance editors as well as contributors and experts, and these are all women that are in the core demographic of the women we are targeting. So they are speaking to that voice and they understand that generation a little bit better. But sometimes contributors reach out to us and they're interested in writing expert content on their particular like interest that they're writing on. We'll have like physicians reach out and talk about how they are interested in writing healthcare related topics. For example, a piece that's going to be coming up later this week is the case for soy, like how soy is actually good for you or what you should be consuming. So we work with experts and contributors in that way, and then we also work with freelance editors that create content every day. So every day on Style Suit we have 10 pieces of new content that are going up, and those are all written by our amazing freelance editors and writers.
And you bootstrapped both of your companies.
Yes.
Any advice for bootstrapping your business, especially in that content creation space?
Of course, I would say just keep a very lean business model. Like don't overextend yourself because you want to be around for the long run. And if investors show interest, as they have for us recently, just understand the dynamics of having you giving part of like the equity of your company and having investors work with you. Understand it's going to make the dynamic of your business just a little bit different. So yeah, that would be, I think keeping a lean business is really smart.
What is your number one piece of advice for aspiring entrepreneurs?
My number one piece of advice is don't be afraid of failing, because you will, and you're going to. So just know to get back out there. If any successful entrepreneur, if you were to talk to them, that you know that they've had their setbacks. So I would say just always be strong and be able to get back out there.
And I think being flexible, to your point too,
Yeah.
because they can just be mini setbacks, mini mistakes, and you can always pivot and redirect. And
Of course.
like you said, just pick yourself back up. Keep
yourself-
on going. Well, thank you so much.
Thank you so
Really
much for
appreciate
having
it.
me.
Love what you're about.
Thank you so much. It's been exciting to be here.
Awesome. We are the biggest entrepreneur platform on the planet. This is Business Rockstars.